Manuel Ugarte to Chelsea, a done deal. Trending, verified, and reported news from Portugal this morning. Plus, reportedly, a total agreement for Declan Rice is now in place. These are two big leading headlines today. We're going to delve into that, some other reports surrounding them as well to give you the full picture of these two massive, massive transfers. Hit the like button, make sure you're subscribing, and of course, follow us on TikTok now by scanning that QR code on your screen or clicking on the link in the description below. Let's do this. Multimedia outlets in Portugal have claimed, and I want to quote them directly verbatim, that Manuel Ugarte is a Chelsea player. It's a done deal. Record Portugal, a verified outlet, everybody is very, very aware of who they are, claim that this deal is done. Another Portuguese outlet, Ebola, has claimed that the deal will take place next week when the player flies over to the UK, that they believe that's when it will complete. But in principle, it is all done, dusted, and agreed. Now, there are some contrary claims to this. We want to be very fair and very open. Some of you may already commented saying we're 1 minute 49 seconds in when I say this, but Fabrizio said this and Ben Jacobs said that. That comes now. I would say this, learn to listen before you comment, because we often cover a lot of the things you guys comment about. Ben Jacobs has stated that Chelsea are in advanced talks to sign Manuel Ugarte, whose preference is to join Chelsea over PSG. He then goes on to say, Fabrizio Romano has reported that there is optimism the deal can be complete. So not just personal terms or done deal, but complete. That's the important word here. Chelsea's still in the race for Moises Caicedo as well. Should Ugarte arrive, that won't change. So Ben Jacobs and Fabrizio Romano confirming that this isn't Caicedo or Ugarte. It is both that Chelsea are looking at. Massive, massive. So their news is slightly different than Portugal. They're saying it's highly likely to complete, not just quite done yet. Portugal are saying it is a done deal. Now, Santi has come out of a slightly different take, and it's very worth noting all these different stories from different credible outlets and then formulating your own conclusion. Your own conclusion is what I want in the comment sections. But it goes on to here to say that agreement reached between Chelsea and Sporting for Ugarte. So that may be why the press in Portugal was saying done deal, because a lot of the media look at done deals as the phrase they use when the clubs come to an agreement. Remember, Chelsea have triggered the buyout clause, but have offered more money in add-ons than PSG. He goes on to say Sporting want Paris to match Chelsea's terms in order to complete the deal. Paris already have an agreement with Ugarte. Now, that will confuse people. I saw all these comments. Well, how does that make sense? And maybe it's because you ignore what the professionals have told you for years. Players can agree personal terms with more than one club. Who they then decide to sign for can change. Chelsea, by the way, have gone back in and increased their offer with the player because PSG's terms were so good. Somebody can agree terms Monday, agree terms with another club on a Wednesday, and then you go back to renegotiate on a Friday. That's how it works. It isn't a basic process like FIFA. I know, FIFA negotiations, I've done them. It's one meeting, generally, you get it done. In real life, it's multiple meetings, moving parts every day. So when you look at all these stories together, what the Portuguese press have said, what Fabrizio has said, what Ben Jacobs have said, and now what Santi is stating, it does appear the deal with Chelsea and Ugarte and Sporting, it's anywhere between on the edge of completing to already complete, in terms of my opinion. Now, what can change this would be Paris Saint-Germain matching Chelsea's offer and again increasing personal terms. That can still happen, even if everyone gives Chelsea their word that they're going to sign. Because until the ink is dry on the contract, until a deal is complete. So never go by done deals, always go by deal complete. Anything can change. But it does appear right now, Chelsea are getting their man. That is how it appears. That is how it reads to me. I want your thoughts and feelings on the breakdown of that deal. Exciting times for Chelsea, bolstering that midfield, plans for Moises Caicedo as well. And if you get this one done early before the window even opens, what a summer it could be for Chelsea. Now with Declan Rice, I want to talk about this story because you know me, I don't disrespect media from certain parts of the world. There is a claim that states that Bayern Munich are on the verge of completing the signing for Declan Rice. That is a trending piece of news this morning. And I saw this and thought to myself, really? They're on the verge of completing a deal for him now. This has been shared by West Ham Central, been shared by Transfer News. They're reportedly on the verge of completing this deal. Goes on to say that Declan Rice to Bayern Munich is a done deal. Rice will sign a 5-year contract to 2028 tomorrow morning. That is a claim here from a journalist. I want to read you his name. It is Jose Felix Diaz. Is a Madrid-based journalist, lots of followers, seemingly credible to a degree. To a degree. Now, this news was trending yesterday evening, and I was obviously licking wounds after losing the FA Cup final. I disagree with the news. So that's the news. No other outlet has confirmed this. No other journalist has said this is true. Nobody. That is the story. So I'd love your opinion on it. On it. Unlike the news with Ugarte, where you're getting a similar version of the story from 3 or 4 verified, credible outlets, here it's just one individual. Now, I don't care that he is Madrid-based giving you this news. Remember, it was a Turkish outlet that broke Nuno Espirito Santo to Tottenham. Why, I don't know, but they broke that news as an example. We've seen Portuguese outlets break stories of a Spanish-based player going to English clubs and vice versa. So there are good journalists everywhere. Once upon a time, Fabrizio was played down by people for just being. I remember doing transfer stories 5-6 years ago before nobody knew who he was, and everybody said, "Well, why would an Italian journalist know what's going on in England?" It's called contacts, and it's a multinational sport in that way. It's a global sport now. So of course, I'm not going to play him down based on his nationality. That'd be really weird. I'm playing it down because I don't think Declan Rice is going to sign a contract with anybody before he plays this Conference League final. In my personal opinion, I don't see that happening. Now, maybe there's been an agreement in principle. Maybe he says, I love what Bayern Munich are offering to me, but I don't think today, it'll be Sunday morning, by the way. I don't think we're going to see breaking news that Declan Rice has signed a contract with Bayern Munich. The Bayern Munich have put a bid in, and West Ham have been. Remember, he can't sign a contract until a bid's been accepted by West Ham. He can agree personal terms in principle, or it can be personal terms will be no problem. That old chestnut. But I'm calling BS on it. I'm calling BS on it. I think maybe this journalist has not is not lying. I think maybe he's just got the wrong end of the stick. I think there could be genuine optimism that Munich can sign him, according to of a number of outlets and a number of people, people that I follow. There was one that came out. There's one that came out yesterday. And I'm just looking for it on my screen now because I appear to have lost it. I appear to have lost it. I can't actually find the guy. Here it is. Let me just get this back up on my screen. So I want to read. Remember, we don't edit these videos; they're live, recorded here. Here it is. So it says here that Rice, the meeting with him in London with Bayern Munich was positive. Rice has given the feeling that he could well imagine a move to Bayern. Bosses have discussed him in the last few days again. That's bosses at Bayern. Bayern want to prepare an official offer as their next step. Tuchel was the main driver. So there are reports from Germany that kind of back up what this other journalist has said there's optimism at Bayern Munich, but I still believe Arsenal will lead in this race. The British journalist came out quite quickly last night to say Arsenal still feel very confident. What I will say is this, though. Arsenal, come Thursday morning after this Conference League final, have got to be quick. Have got to move quick. Because Bayern Munich is circling. And Bayern Munich, they are a powerhouse. And as much as, look, I don't think winning the Bundesliga is in the contemporary sense as prestigious as winning the Premier League, because the Premier League is a bigger league globally. More people watch it. It's more competitive. There's more eyeballs. There's more media attention. So I think with that comes a slightly more increased sense of prestige in the modern day sense. I think 10, 15, 20 years ago, you could argue the Bundesliga is bigger. But some people will. I wouldn't, but some people would. But they've got to be careful because they are a powerhouse. They are a bigger club and a more successful club than Arsenal, and that holds an amount of weight. And if he goes to Bayern Munich and he's their linchpin in midfield, and he is part. Listen, they're selling quite a few players this summer, Bayern Munich, because they've had a bad year in the Champions League and they're going to want to improve. He becomes a linchpin in their midfield that leads them back to Champions League glory. There is almost an achievement within that in itself, which is amazing. British player leaving our shores to go and dominate abroad. There's only a handful of players that have ever done that. So, from a legacy point of view, there is an element of legacy, an element of fame, an element of achievement here, which is unattainable at any British club if you're a British player. So Arsenal need to move quick. Arsenal need to act fast. Arsenal need to make sure that they've been given gentlemen's agreements. They've had personal terms pretty much agreed now since January. They may need to revisit that agreement and increase it further, like we're seeing Chelsea do with Ugarte. Remember, it isn't basic like FIFA or Football Manager or like you signing a contract to go and work at Tesco's or Barclays or a high street clothing shop like River Island. This is big business. Very different scenarios indeed. But I do want all your thoughts and feelings on these two massive trending stories this morning. More content later today with Fan Channel Review as well. But hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe. Until next time, take care. Goodbye. God bless. And I'll see you all again soon.